Welcome to Apex Tips and Tricks Part 2, starting off at number 1, wall bounce. Essentially what you do is slide and then jump to get momentum. And as you see, I just did right there, you slide jump at the wall, and when you're at the peak of the wall, you press A again. Essentially, this tricks the game to thinking you climbed and then jumped, which gives you a speed boost. Tip number 2 is armor swapping. As you can see, I have a very damaged red Evo with only 2 ticks of armor. Now, if you're in the middle of a fight, see how I swapped to blue? You need to do that. If you just finish the fight, even if you have a better armor with more potential, you're just going to get third-partied and die. So the blue shield, even though it has less potential, does have 1 extra armor tick. Tip number 3 is specifically for a few guns, mainly the flatline. As you can see, that was just full auto melting it, but the recoil, if you have a good trigger finger, but you have trouble with recoil on guns like the flatline, then this is for you. So essentially, if you have a good trigger finger, so this is me just using my trigger finger, this is not full auto, I'm just clicking it rapidly. And as you can see, it has a very simple recoil pattern, but if I do it full auto, it has that weird unexpected notch, which is a lot harder to control than the just pretty much straight and then up and to the left a bit recoil pattern. Tip number 4 is that by clicking the subscribe button, your accuracy increases tenfold. That's a huge boost, and subscribing would mean quite a lot. Have you ever had trouble getting headshots with a Kraber? Well, then tip number 5 is going to help you a lot. This has to do with the Kraber's scope and its built-in drop system. As you can see, I've pinged the target, and it says it's 100 meters away. Now, if you look close enough, underneath at the crosshair, right the center, there's little notches starting at 2, going downwards. So if you put it in between 2 and the center line, that should be 1, right? Each of these ticks is 100 meters, which means if it's about 100 meters away, and you put it on the 1, you get a guaranteed headshot. Now, do remember to account for height, because if you're higher than the enemy, it's going to change it because it's not a straight shot, or if you're lower than the enemy, you also have to aim higher. Tip number 6 is practice with off-meta legends. Now, this might seem like a bad thing to do at first, but if you practice with off-meta legends, they'll come into the meta eventually, and then you'll have a one-up on all the other people. Tip number 7 is team resource play. It's what I like to call it. Say you have a teammate who's a fuse and he's using the Rampage LMG. Then you might want to hand him over a few thermites. First of all, because he's fuse, he can carry more than you, and he has the Rampage. He can use it to charge. So just make sure that, or like if you have a Watson, give them your ultimate accelerants, because the Watson can use those very much. Next one is if you're new, go into your settings and say you have a broken controller with stick drift, maybe just activate dead zones. Remember, search up ALC settings. These minor changes can, with some getting used to, can really improve your gameplay by a lot. Next one is to have a clearer head in game. Now, this is important because it's just going to make you have better aim, better decision making especially. Just make sure you're hydrated and not hungry. Not full, but just not hungry. And make sure you have slept well the night before. And that you've also get exercise every day, so you have a nice clear head to make the best decisions and win more games. Tip number 10 is maybe before you start playing each day, just take 5 to 10 minutes in the firing range to practice some things, maybe remember your recoil patterns, do some wall bounces, maybe activate the training dummies and just fight them for a few minutes. Get your bearings before you start playing for the day. This next one is very important. Make sure to practice at all ranges. Firing range is fine, real matches are fine, arenas is fine. But if you only play with assault rifles and SMGs, and the situation comes where you need to use a sniper rifle, you're going to be at a big disadvantage. Or if you only use marksman weapons and assault rifles, the time when someone's rushing you and you need to use a shotgun or an SMG for close range, you also have a large disadvantage. Make sure you practice with all kinds of weapons to make sure you don't die. Please subscribe. It would mean quite a lot as I'm just starting out and don't have really many subscribers. After the recording of this video, the number is 2, which is better than 1, I suppose. Actually, it's double 1. Anyways, please subscribe and like so that more people can see these videos, and maybe I can get a little boost.